What's up YouTube, it's your boy Swaggertron here, bringing you guys another deck profile. This time it's on Vampire Zombies. And this deck profile is a little special because this deck was made by our friend David, and he was nice enough to let us profile it for you guys. So yeah, thanks Dave, huge shout out to you, and alright, let's get started. We run two Mizukis, pretty much a walking monster born for zombies, and this whole deck is mostly zombie based, so yeah, why not? Two goblin zombies and two pyramid turtles, pretty much your searchers and floaters to help you get into your key pieces. Two Plex Spreader zombies, your tuner of the deck to help you go into your synchro plays. Two zombie masters, pretty much helps bring back your dead zombies from the grave by discarding one card from your hand. Pretty much helps you go into more synchro plays and XYZ plays. Now for the new vampire monsters that are coming out in Shadow Specters. First off, we have Shadow Vampire. When this card is normal summoned, you can special summon one dark vampire monster from your hand or deck except Shadow Vampire. But if you do, only that monster can attack for the rest of the turn. This card cannot be used in XYZ material for an XYZ summon except for the XYZ summon of a Dark Monster. Pretty much use his effect to get Vampire Lord and then just go into a rank 5 monster that I'll show you guys later, which are pretty much either going to be Crimson Knight, Vampire Bram, or Adrius. Next we have two Vampire Lords to help combo with our Shadow Vampire and to combo off with our Fuse Spell. Next we have three Vampire Sorcerer. If this card in your possession is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card, either by battle or by card effect, you can add one Dark Vampire monster or one Vampire Spell trap from your deck to your hand. You could banish this card from your graveyard. One Vampire monster you normal summon this turn can be summoned without tributing. Pretty much he's your searcher for all your vampire related stuff, and he can help you pretty much normal summon Shadow Vampire without tributing, so you can just set up for your rank 5 plays. For the tech of the deck, three Destiny Hero Militias, pretty much taking what Teledad did and just pretty much comboing off with Plague Spreader to go into your level 8 synchros, and plus it's a good way to set up when you combo off with Zombie Master, so has pretty good synergy with this deck. Next up we have Blackwing Zephyros the Elite. Okay, when I first saw this card, I was kind of skeptical as why was my friend Dave running this, but then I noticed that he has a lot of cards that are on the field that can bounce back, like Call of the Haunted and his Fuse Spell, so Zephyros is pretty much alive a lot of the times. Plus, you could go into quick synchros and XYZ plays, especially for something like the Volvo Chain that can help you pretty much just make the deck go insane by just sending something like Malicious or Plague Spreader to the grave. So, really good monster. Next up, we have Dark Armed, and pretty much everything here is dark, and the grave is pretty easy to manipulate, so why the fuck not? Now for the spells, we have one Allure for draw power, one Foolish Burial pretty much to send your Plague Spreaders, Malicious, whatever you need at the moment. One Book of Moon, two Book of Lives, pretty much monster born for zombies with an additional effect that allows you to banish one of your opponent's monsters from the graveyard, which is pretty damn good when you consider decks like Dragoonity, Dark World, stuff like that. Now for the Vampire Fuse Spell, Vampire Kingdom. I'm gonna read it off for you guys. Zombie type monsters gain 500 tags during damage calculations. That effect alone is what makes this this Fuse Spell so damn good. Its next effect is kind of conditional in this deck, but it could work if you combo it off well with Vampire Lord. Vampire Lord. Once per turn, when a card is sent from your opponent's deck to the grave, target one card on the field, send one dark vampire monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and if you destroy, if you do, if you do destroy that target, pretty much when you attack and do damage with Vampire Lord, call something like spell, traps, monsters, and whatever. Then your opponent has to send one to the grave. Then once that happens, Vampire Kingdom's effect activates, and then you can just pop something on the field. Hold on, I just want to see. I'm not entirely sure, but I think this effect is mandatory. So keep that in mind when you have Vampire Kingdom and use Vampire Lord's effect. And last of spells, we have 2 MSTs, because fuck back row. For the traps, we have the 1-ofs, Boundless, Compulse, Torrential, and Solemn Warning. Then we have 3 Call of the Haunted to add to the resurrecting capabilities of this deck, and just overall spamming. And like I said before, good card to abuse with Zephyros, and actually when I think about it, this whole deck abuses the crap out of this card. And for the last trap, we have Vampire Takeover. If you have no card in your field card zone and all face-up monsters you control, minimum 1 are zombie type, activate 1 Vampire Kingdom directly from your deck. Then you can special summon 1 Dark Vampire monster from your graveyard in the face-up defense position. You can only activate 1 Vampire Takeover per turn. Okay, just from reading that, this card is like terraforming, but on steroids, because not only do you get your field spell, but you could drop it automatically onto the field, and then you could just bring back a vampire back from your grave. Just wow. It's actually a pretty damn good card. Yeah, moving along to the extra deck, we have 1 HTS Sahemoth, Iron Chain Dragon, which is actually really good in this deck if you combine it with the Fuse spell, because when this card does damage, I believe your opponent has to send the top 3 cards of their deck to the grave, so really good. Vulcan to the Vine, pretty much you could bounce stuff back, and one of the main targets you would want to bounce back is Call of the Haunted and abuse that shit again. 1 Revive King Hades, really good monster when you go against floaters like Abyss Linde, because this card says fuck you to Linde. 1 Black Rose Dragon, 1 Ancient Fairy Dragon, which is a really good monster when you go against decks that like to use field spells like Harpies and Drangulities. 1 Crimson Blader, 1 Scrap Dragon, and 1 Flashing Kara Dragon. I'm sorry guys, I just love saying its OCG name. I don't really like the name that they gave it in TCG, but that's just my pet peeves, whatever. For XCs, we have Diamond Direwolf to get over things, mostly Ophion, because I noticed that Ophion it seems like a problem for this deck, so Diamond is definitely a staple that I think you guys should use if you make this deck. 1 Gaga Cowboy, 1 Lavalva Chain, another staple in the extra deck that you need to have, because you send Malicious, you could send Plague Spreader, you could send this guy, and Zephyros, you could send so many things, Mizuki, so many things that just sets up plays for days in this deck. 1 Utopia. Now for the XC Vampire, Crimson Knight, Vampire Bram. You make this guy with 2 level 5 zombie type monsters. Sorry guys, I'm a little sick, so pardon the coughing. You can attach 1 XYZ material from this card, then target 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard. Special summon that target to your side of the field, but if you do, only that monster can attack for the rest of this turn. You can only use the effect of Crimson Knight Vampire Bram once per turn. During the standby phase of the next turn, after this card you control is destroyed by your opponent's card, either by battle or by card effect, and sent to the graveyard, special summon this card from your graveyard in face-up defense position. Okay, let me just focus on that second effect. If this guy dies, he keeps coming back. What the hell? You pretty much guaranteed to have a monster always, and this thing is 3000 attack under the field spell, so goddamn. And his first effect is also pretty damn good. bring back one of your opponent's monsters and just beat them with it. And you can even use it to bring back something important from their graveyard, because if you guys look at the at our showcase with this deck, you will notice that Dave brings back key monsters that our opponents was using, like the Dragoony tuners and stuff like that. So this card could really hurt your opponent in a lot of ways. I'm still I'm still mind boggled by the fact that this guy mostly never dies. Like, the only real way you could kill the thing is by banishing it. And last up we have Aegius, because he's the only other rank 5 dark monster that you could make using Shadow Vampire and Vampire Lord. Overall guys, I really like this deck. I haven't played this deck at all, but looking at it right now, I could just say that this deck seems a lot of fun to use and is very explosive. It may take a little time to set up depending how you open, because I'm not really sure how the consistency is, but once you get your combos going, you could just overwhelm your opponent with so much monsters and big monsters. Actually, now that I think about it, I might actually make this deck and do a little videos for you guys just to show how I would use. Like, I'll probably change up a few spell and traps here and there, but I would definitely use this deck later on. So yeah guys, pretty much this is the Vampire zombie deck. Again, thanks Dave for allowing us to show this to everyone. It's been your boy Swaggertron, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.